Good morning, Jessica.
Hi, good morning, Jackie. Thanks for having me.
Jessica, not that you don't know this, but you are the founder of Figiúra. And I found you on LinkedIn. I don't know how you popped into my feed, but I'm really, really interested and fascinated by what women are doing in the femtech space and why they're doing it. Can you tell me a little bit about Figiúra before I dive into some questions for you?
Yes, yeah, thank you. So we are Figiúra. Again, my name is Jessie Johnson. I'm the CEO and founder, and we are the only everyday bra brand for women with breast implants, and we're delivering that fit that the industry forgot. So, people like to say that we are a merger of femtech, apparel, and modern intimate. We're really at that cross section. So we are essentially carving a brand new sector within that industry, and we're really excited to get the opportunity to share that with you today.
Okay, I love the word modern intimates. I really do think it's important to change the language around women's health and wellness. There's so much outdated language out there. So I really like that you say it like that. And you definitely are carving a new path, which is exciting. That leads me to my first question.
Yeah. So 15 years post breast augmentation. I have three children myself, so I did have a revision. And that was, to rebuild what once was. I was really stuck and confined in sports bras and bralettes. And I just really had enough. It was going on for much too long. And I've thought to myself, I can't really be the only one that is having these immense fit issues with traditional everyday bras. So I started reaching out to just my inner circle on the grassroots level and started picking the brains of women that I knew went through the same procedure for whatever reason that may be. We broke it down into three different segments and posing the questions of what are they putting on in the morning when they're getting dressed? And it was the same pain points that were coming in all across the board that these women were really suffering in silence and confined to these sports bras for comfort and we're really missing that component of aesthetics, which they were really hoping for and were unable to find a solution. So from then, the olive branch kind of grew, and I started receiving all this feedback of women that knew nothing about myself other than I was just this lady with this idea. And again, such great appreciativeness for the technology that we were shaping at that time, even before we had an MVP. It was just really an ideation. I thought I would like to do a little more digging on kind of a macro scale. So I started posting questions on Quora and Reddit, and it was the same data points and same pain points that were coming through from this really niche community of women. And I thought, I think I'm really onto something here. So from there, I immersed myself into the fitting rooms with bra fit specialists. And again, posing those same questions for that niche community of women that they were fitting each and every day of what exactly are you putting them in? What kind of garments are they able to wear that are blending the comfort and the aesthetics into a single product? And it was, well, it's really difficult to find. So I thought, okay, I know the pain points. I come from a social work background, not really a fashion design background. I knew that I would have to pull in the most strategic partners for us to kind of create this IP strategy around this brand. I just had enough and started getting to work. And I thought, well, we're just going to build it ourselves.
Good for you. Well, that's how it happens, right? Like, that's what I'm seeing so much in femtech. Women like you are being really courageous and passionate and creating something that you need that you can't get access to right now. Um,
Yeah.
and honestly, like in the menopause world, I find that women who go through post-surgical menopause are really overlooked. And they're the ones who have that struggle the most because they don't have that runway of perimenopause to sort of prepare them.
Right.
And like a lot of women, with breast cancer go into it much earlier than a woman would be expected to go into menopause. So it's not on their radar. And
Right.
therefore, it's probably not in conversations they're having with their peers and their friends. And, I had Kim McDonald, who is the spokesperson for Breast Cancer Canada, say, you go home with all this information about your medications and your recovery, but no one tells you, oh my God, you're going to be in menopause in like 46 hours from now. And so not knowing that, you get really scared. Like, what is this hot flash? What is this feeling I'm having? Like, is it a response to the medication? Is cancer back? Anyway,
Right.
so that is why I'm particularly fascinated by what you're doing. Yeah. So I'm going to go more into the tech side. This is where I know nothing. But like I would say, just from an outsider's point of view, that figure sort of operates at the intersection of technology in women's health. Can you walk us through a little bit behind the technology of your product and how it addresses the gaps, especially in the current landscape for women?
Yeah, absolutely. So, we're more than a lingerie brand. We're really a data informed solution to real post surgical health and comfort issues. Breast augmentation fundamentally changes the shape, the volume, the anatomical profile of the chest. And yet, all bras on the market are still designed for natural breast tissue and have outdated grading and sizing standardized systems. So, our technology begins with proprietary fit data that we collected at the grassroots level from this community, analytical data pulled from nanofabric sensor technology that was measuring the anatomical distance variances in breast tissue pre and post op and how that impacts the bra fit, as well as feature recommendations from top plastic surgeons and those bra fit specialists that are boots on the ground, measuring these women each and every day. Through that analysis, we were able to create custom manufacturing mold presses that have a focus on the cup depth, the shape, and the channels to ensure that it effectively aligns with the unique implant contours. So we also balance the structure, the flexibility with zone support to accommodate how implants will move and how they'll settle. This is really critical to reducing those pressure points that we spoke of, minimizing implant migration and improving posture and providing everyday comfort and support by treating fit as a post-surgical health consideration, even once healed, and not just a fashion decision. We're addressing a blind spot in both the lingerie and in the post-op care as well. So really our focus is on the anatomical distance variances in natural breast tissue versus augmented. And I'll tell you the reason behind that and why it impacts bra fit is generally implant-based breasts, especially when you're looking at the most popular style of a breast implant, which would be a moderate to a higher profile, is generally rounder in shape. It's going to have a much more narrow root, a greater forward projection, and it's going to be much less malleable or have much less of a relaxed ease than a natural breast tissue. And that's what our design is really focused on, enhancing that ergonomical fit specifically for that breast type.
Okay, that makes total sense. These are things I would never have thought of. So I find this really illuminating. And I'm sure anyone listening is like, wow, I didn't even like look at it that way. It's fascinating that you are doing this because I think you would agree that women's health has typically been underserved and overlooked,
Right.
both in research and product development. So, Jessica, from your perspective, why do you think it's taken so long for technology to catch up in this space? And femtech specifically, how is that starting to shift that narrative?
So I think, Jackie, that for decades, really, women's health has been marginalized due to a systemic bias, whether it's underrepresentation of women in clinical trials or a misconception that a female health needs are niche and cosmetic. Add that to the stigma around topics like menstruation, fertility, body image. It's no surprise that innovation pipeline has really lagged. But femtech is finally changing that. We're seeing cultural, scientific reckoning with the fact that women are just smaller men. Right? If you have unique biological, psychological, and lifestyle needs that deserve tailored solutions, essentially, right?
Yes.
Growth of femtech is powered by women founders, researchers, investors who are tired of being the afterthought and are now building companies rooted in lived experiences and, real unmet needs. And
Yeah.
us, at Figiúra, we're really proud to be a part of this shift. It's showing that something as personal as a bra can be a meaningful, part of a woman's health and autonomy.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is what has been so promising about the space. Like it wasn't one of these sort of trends that started and then lagged off. If anything, it's gaining so much momentum. I subscribe to a femtech newsletter because I like to pretend I know what they're talking about. And I just read stuff like, who's getting investment money, where they're at in seed money. I'm like, what an uphill battle. Like it's not just the great idea, right? It's everything that powers behind it to get it to market, which to me is nothing short of a miracle these days. So let's talk a bit about that when you're creating health tech products for women. It does have its own set of challenges, like from clinical validation to user adoption and most often stigmatized area. So, what obstacles have you personally faced in bringing Figura to market and how did you overcome them?
So to be honest, one of our biggest challenges has been overcoming the misconception that breast augmentation is purely aesthetic. That stigma and, therefore unworthy of serious innovation. The reality is that millions of women undergo this procedure for deeply personal reasons. We really narrow it down into three different segments, being the enhancement or cosmetic, restorative, and reconstruction market, including identity, affirmation, post mastectomy, reconstruction, and what have you. But yet, following post op healing, they're often left with no real support, right?
Hmm.
Come home from the hospital, you can have a stack of paperwork, but yeah, that's almost where it seems like it kind of stops. And
Yeah.
quite literally and emotionally. And, for us, traditional bras can be a painful, ill-fitting, and, even damaging post-op. So our challenge was twofold, essentially, if you want to look at it like that, building a product that truly solves this problem, and then also reframing the narrative around why it matters.
Hmm.
So, we really invested deeply in research, collaborating with women of diverse body profiles who have, firsthand insight into recovery really feels like long after that 6 to 8 week healing period, really. And we also had to be mindful on how we spoke about the product,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Creating messaging that was body aware, emotionally intelligent, and grounded in care rather than vanity is a big one. Uh,
Hmm.
so by anchoring in empathy and data, we've built trust in a community that has really long been underserved. And that's kind of been our strategy to overcome those stigmas.
I've learned just through personal experience, like with friends of mine, and even the co-founder of She 2.0 is a breast cancer survivor. So, I knew a little bit about her journey with breast augmentation. And it's funny how going in, I thought I knew a lot. I knew nothing as another woman. And it led me later on to create these comfort kits called the In a Flash kit, which was obviously a play on hot flash because when women go into post-surgical menopause, they are unprepared, but also that's sort of the time when, everybody at the office feels awkward, doesn't know what to do. So everybody puts together a group gift. And we find with those gifts, they're like wine and a pedicure. And I thought, yeah, why not? Well, wine, obviously not, but the pedicure, even, or some of the skincare products, your skin is so sensitive after treatment, which is something I never thought of. Like one friend in my circle said, I do not want anyone touching my feet. Like it actually irritates and hurts the skin. So the idea of the In a Flash kit was these products that were developed by women for women and for women going through this particular experience, understanding their needs and sensitivities.
But again, that kind of goes back to, this whole category of femtech of thoughtful,
Yes.
thoughtful, right? And humanized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And understanding that, like, if you wanna go in together on a group gift, you wanna give this person something that's not overly personal, but something that they can actually use. Like, we had great body creams that were specifically designed for the sensitivity post-treatment. And I look at this and I think, I mean, this is not gonna be an office gift, but, if a girlfriend of mine was going through it, I would highly recommend myself and a group of girls go in and give her a figure of bra to help her after. It's like the best gift you can give someone, right? To help them feel a little more back to normal and to feel feminine. Yeah.
Which is so important, to ensure with, again, going back to the whole notion of this femtech category, women should be heard. They should feel seen. They should feel understood. So I think with your gifts that you're speaking to in particular and really targeting those unique needs in such a thoughtful way makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I love this product because I think women are kind of like cut loose after this with the initial clinical information and follow up with your doctor. But then what? Like, we don't talk about lifestyle and we don't talk about confidence. Just like, how do we readjust to our new normal? And that's what your product is helping them do, which I just absolutely love. So my final question to you is back to femtech. Looking ahead, what role do you see technology playing in reshaping women's healthcare? And how is Figura going to be at the helm of that and contribute to a space where women are going to now have access to products that are innovative, lifestyle driven, and supportive.
So, I really believe that we're at the beginning of a new era. You know, Women's health is no longer simplified and it's seen as complex and a worthy field of innovation. Technology is opening doors to personalization, you know, accessibility, data driven care in ways that we've never had before, right? There's both, again, functional, going back to your gift basket, what's functional, but it's also deeply human as well, right? Figiúra really contributes to this future by treating every day like wearing a bra as an opportunity for support and self expression. We're designing comfort, yes, but also confidence. And our vision is to make women feel seen, not only as consumers, but as whole people with nuanced journeys. In the same notion, we're not promoting a body type, right? We're really championing every woman's right to embrace her body free of judgment.
Hmm.
We are really in deep belief that confidence and self-expression, should really come without conditions. So, in short, we're proving that comfort is care, that intimate wear can be a powerful form of wellness. When technology and design with women in mind, it can be a really, really powerful force.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to add something to that. And I'm sure you've already thought about this, but when we present women with things like, this new innovative, modern, intimate solution and other areas in femtech where they're developing devices that, are used for internal purposes, that I
Mhm.
think what we do is not just normalize how women's health and our bodies do change over time due to illness, due to age, etc., but also I think it helps us to feel a little more confident, comfortable, and less fearful about going through an unavoidable transition when we know that on the other side or even during, we're going to have products that are going to make it more comfortable for us, more approachable. And then when we come out on the other side, we are going to feel very comfortable in our new normal far sooner than we ever have. So I think that is so important. It's just like such a mindset shift.
And I think that's where it starts from, is really what you said, a mindset shift.
Yeah.
The
Exactly.
foundation of, if you want to call it a movement, I know that's such a term that's so overused, but really and truly, it is a movement. If this is a new era,
Yeah.
building strategic foundation and building blocks, so incredibly important.
And so before I let you go to develop more products, keep going. If someone's watching this and they want to learn more and they want to know how the process works,
Mhm.
can you give me a little info on that?
Yeah. So you can get in touch with me. You can either drop your email into our e-commerce site. So that's figiura.com. You can also look me up on LinkedIn as well. I'm very easy to access through there. I would just love to have conversations with anyone and everyone. We're really, as much as Figiúra is our brand, it's really the community's brand. So any sort of feedback or anything that comes to mind, like I am all ears. This is being built for you and to solve those immense fit issues. So I want to take everyone along for that journey. So please do get in touch.
Amazing. One thing I said to a friend this morning, because we are going through this big move, hence my horrible backdraft. Change is hard, I said, but we always say it takes a village to raise a child, but it actually takes a village to raise a child through adulthood and into, the golden years because we never do this alone. And we've seen what happens when we do this alone. Nothing happens. So kudos to you and thank you for everything that you're doing. I'll be following you and you and I will be in touch again soon.
Yeah. Thank you so much for the opportunity to share our story.
Thanks, Jessica.